watched it all burn and smiled. The night was cold, and the wind howled through the trees like a lonely wolf. The village of Black Hollow slept under a blanket of stars, unaware of the fire that would change everything. In the heart of the village stood an old house, its wooden walls creaking with age. Inside, a man sat by the fireplace, his face glowing in the flickering light. His name was Elias, and tonight he would watch it all burn. Elias had lived in Black Hollow his entire life. The village was small, the kind of place where everyone knew each other's names and each other's secrets. But Elias was different. He had always been quiet, keeping to himself, his thoughts hidden behind dark eyes. The villagers whispered about him, calling him strange, even dangerous. But they never truly understood him. Years ago, Elias had been happy. He had a family, a wife named Lyora and a daughter named Mara. They were his world. But one winter, sickness came to Black Hollow. It took Lyora first, then little Mara. The villagers said it was fate, that no one could escape the grip of illness. But Elias knew the truth. The village healer, an old woman named Agatha, had refused to help them. She claimed the sickness was punishment for some unknown sin. Elias begged her. He offered everything he had, his land, his savings, even his own life, if she would save his family. But Agatha turned him away. And so, Lyora and Mara died in his arms, their last breaths lost in the cold air of their small home. That night Elias made a promise. He would wait. He would watch. And when the time came, he would make them all pay. Years passed. The villagers forgot about Elias's pain. They went on with their lives, laughing, feasting, pretending they had done no wrong. But Elias never forgot. He watched them, studying their routines, their weaknesses. He learned who was greedy, who was cruel, who had secrets they wanted to keep buried. And he waited. Then, on the coldest night of the year, he struck. The fire started in the healer's house. Agatha was asleep when the flames licked at her door. By the time she woke, it was too late. The fire spread quickly, jumping from roof to roof, fed by the dry winter wind. The villagers screamed, running into the streets with nothing but the clothes on their backs. They tried to fight the flames, but the water in the wells was frozen. There was no escape. Elias stood on the hill overlooking the village, his coat wrapped tightly around him. The heat of the fire warmed his face, but his heart was colder than ice. He watched as the church burned, the place where they had prayed while his family suffered. He watched as the mayor's house collapsed, the man who had called him a fool for believing in love. He watched as the school turned to ash, the place where children had laughed while his own daughter lay silent in the ground. And he smiled. It was not a smile of joy, but of relief. The weight he had carried for so long was finally gone. The pain, the anger, the loneliness, it all burned with the village. He had kept his promise. As the last building fell, Elias turned away. He did not look back. The wind carried the smell of smoke as he walked into the forest, disappearing into the shadows. Some say he died that night, consumed by his own guilt. Others claim he still wanders, a ghost in the trees, waiting for another fire to light. But one thing is certain. In Black Hollow, nothing was ever the same. The villagers who survived left, never speaking of that night. The land where their homes once stood became a cursed place, avoided by travelers. And if you listen closely on a quiet night, you might hear the whisper of the wind, telling the story of the man who watched it all burn and smiled. The end.